let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the graded stakes action at Aqueduct on Wood Memorial Saturday with 3-year-old sprinters. Let's take a peek at the Bayshore Stakes. It's carded as race number 4, and we kick off a mandatory payout in the pick 5. Only a field of 5, and the number 3, Drain the Clock, is likely to be a heavy favorite, and deservedly so, Mike. He's only lost once in his career, and that was at a distance that might have been a bit too far against perhaps better company.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to get him on the Triple Crown Trail last time, Dan. He didn't embarrass himself in there. He cut the pace in the Fountain of Youth. He got tired in the stretch and finished second. He ran fine. Cutting back is supposed to work for him. He's going to be a very heavy favorite in here, and I guess he's very likely to win.
And I think Arad Ortiz is going to be aggressive with him leaving the gate, breaking from post position 3. We take a look at the time form U.S. pace projector. The pace not expected to be fast in this short field. Barron on the outside has options and gives Manny Franco options because he is outside. He's fast enough to make the lead, but he can sit if Drain the Clock wants to go.
True. I mean, I won't argue with the pace projector. I feel like Barron's probably only chance here is to go to the front and see if he can get Drain the Clock to track off, and maybe he can wire the field. We'll see.
Maybe the number 1, Two Boss, is dirtied up just a bit. Sprinting at Aqueduct over this distance 2 starts back. Solid enough maiden win with a competitive Buyer's speed figure. They shipped this horse to Parks for the 2-turn debut last time out. Caught a wet track. Maybe the distance was a little bit too far for him. More likely he didn't like the wet surface. Perhaps cutting back in distance will help.
Yeah, that's all true, Dan. I mean, I'm not going to, take some huge stand against him. I don't know how good I think this horse is. I thought his maiden win 2 back was fine, and I'm not sure that he beat much of a field there, but he did improve off of his debut. Last time, listen, he didn't run terribly. It was a sloppy track. He broke a little bit awkwardly. It's not like he totally quit in the stretch. It wasn't terrible, but I don't know. I'm just not sure how good this horse is.
I think Garoppolo, the number 2, is a little bit of potential. Soon to be working very well before his debut last year as an early 2-year-old. Caught a wet track. I thought was solid in his second start, winning. And then he caught Jackie's Warrior in the Saratoga Special. It was simply too tough, and he really didn't run that badly. Took advantage of that fast pace, clunked up and passed a couple of tired horses. The long layoff is a concern. The lack of pace up front is a concern. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse runs on well and might be okay later this year.
I agree with all that stuff. This horse was actually pretty good, I thought, as a 2-year-old. His maiden win, to me, that was a short sprint race there in his second start. To me, it almost looked like he was just getting started as they came to the wire in there. All in all, that Saratoga Special for that time of the year, that was a pretty tough race. He didn't run bad at all in that race. It's a long layoff. He's got to go 7 furlongs against a short field. Personally, I think he's interesting as the longest shot on the board. I'm going to try to get him in there underneath.
But a horse with all the figs and the horse to beat, obviously, the 3, Drain the Clock, 1-2 on David Aragona's morning line. We'll watch the Fountain of Youth. They tried to stretch him out, as Mike mentioned in the open. He made the lead. He shook clear, turning into the stretch, but Greatest Honor just had too much kick for him in the final 16th of a mile. But it was a fine effort, and turning back to 7/8 is probably what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, it's just a really logical turn back for him, is winning the Swell 2 back. It wasn't a great field, but he won that race super easily. He won the Limehouse super easily. The only time that he didn't win sprinting is when he dropped his rider, Dan. I mean, I don't feel like he's one of those, heavy favorites that you feel like you can't possibly bet against, but he feels like he's a very likely winner.
The 4 Whiskey Double's in very good form. He really hasn't run poorly sprinting. Let's watch his most recent start down at Oaklawn for trainer Steve Asmussen. He caught a wet track. He got the right pace set up. They were going very fast in this race. He swung to the outside. He has a lot of work to do, but he is going to get up. And the 3rd place finisher came right back to win a 2 other than with an 87 Buyer.
Yeah, I thought he ran well in here, Dan. He had to go very wide on the turn to get clear, and then he came with a nice finish in here to close it down at the end. I thought he ran well. I thought it was a nice step forward for him. I mean, I guess he has to improve again to win this race, but I won't be surprised if he does it.
And Barron completes the field. This horse is seeking the hat trick. He won 2 in a row at Parks, including this race, going 6.5 furlongs, first time against winners. He just showed good speed from the start. And he was confronted by this Indian Lake on the outside, and Barron just shrugs him off, and he's getting away at the wire. Now, the Buyer's speed figures are competitive, and he's likely to get a good trip in here. Maybe at 5-1, Barron is a logical upsetter.
Yeah, I guess he could be, especially if he makes the lead in here and Drain the Clock doesn't get aggressive. Maybe he just gets to the front and forgets to stop. He is improving at the right time, Dan. I'm not sure how I feel about that field that he just beat last time, but he did it pretty easily.
There are some interesting horses in this year's edition of the Bayshore, but as we take a look at our top pick, Drain the Clock just might be too much for them. Mike's going to try to play Garoppolo, and I think that might be an interesting move to get that 15-1 shot on the morning line up for the place.
That's how I'm going to bet it, Dan. I thought about trying to beat Drain the Clock. I really couldn't find the horse to do it with. I'm going to go 3-2.
3-2 for Mike, 3-5-4-1 for me. It's the Grade 3 Bayshore, race number 4 at Aqueduct on Wood Memorial Saturday.